What up, gents? My name is Sean C. Welcome to the Simsational Gent. We just recently went over 1,000 subscribers, and I want to make sure I thank each and every one of you for watching this channel. What I will tell you is that I'm committed to keep bringing this type of content that are important to have for men to have the space to be able to voice what they're feeling. We can hopefully move forward and have equitable outcomes that allows us to live our best life. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Help us to grow and be the channel that you want. What you came here for is what you saw in the title and what you saw in the thumbnail. Now, I came across this brother. Shout out to the brother Calvin from the channel Sunshine Shoulders. Make sure you go out and check that guy out. Support this brother. Link will be down in the description. He talks about the marriages he had with an American woman and a foreign woman. And he's going to lay out to us what his experiences was, what he went through, and how we could all learn from it. So without further ado, let's get started.
I was asked a question recently by one of my subscribers. I consider him a friend now. And he said, you've been married to an American woman, you've been married to a Filipino woman. He said, can you tell me what was the difference? I was married to a beautiful African-American woman for technically 18 years. Really 16, because the last 2 years we were not together. I was with a beautiful Filipino for technically 10 years, but really 8.5 years, because the last year and a half we were not together. In those 18 years, 16 years I was with my American wife. There was a lot of great times in there. I just want to kind of give these guys who've been married to American women who are kind of cautious and saying, I'm never going to get married again. You're probably going to rethink that when you start coming over here and you meet the right Filipino, because, they've got some unbelievable qualities, man, that I find attractive. I find appealing, that a lot of men around the world find appealing. With my American wife, the honeymoon period was very brief, if we had a honeymoon period at all. She was arguing and throwing shit almost from the beginning. Sex had become difficult. It was like pulling teeth with tweezers or something. It just wasn't enjoyable. I'm sure I wasn't turning her on. She wasn't turning me on. I guess for the last year, we was really just going through the motions. And I just got tired of begging, man. You get to the point where you begging, and by the time she relents, gives in, I'm no longer in the mood, and trying to get something extra was out of the question. Unless it was your birthday, maybe her birthday, anniversaries, holidays, or something like that.
Men don't want this. Men don't want to have to fight with his woman after he's been battling the world all day. And this man experienced this immediately after he got married, he said. I've heard of so many stories where men end up getting married and then the woman that he had changes. Why is it that women change once they get those ball and chains around your leg? It's also funny to me how American women are always down for relations when you're in a relationship, when everything is going strong, when there's the hint of being in a committed relationship, i.e. getting to marry. And then once you're in the marriage, the relations, they all but go away. They start to slow down. Maybe even some women use those relations, you wanting to be intimate with your woman, against you. Use it as a bargaining chip and a tool, when it should be mutual. It should be that you want to be with your partner, should it?
My Filipino wife was totally different. When you're with a Filipino, it's like every day you're on your honeymoon. Like I said, even up until the day we separate, we were still on our honeymoon, man. We never had an argument in 8.5 years. That's just how it is. It's not about being submissive or weak or anything like that, but we had an open door policy when it came to sex. It was smooth as silk. See, my American wife, she made sure she was in control of the cookie jar, but my Filipino wife, she left the top off the cookie jar. I had access to the cookies at any time. I became the cookie monster, and every day was my birthday. I got it any way I wanted, however I wanted, wherever I wanted, and it was just no problem. Everything was smooth, and it was good. It was passionate, man. She relit my fire. Then it went out.
Now, this man's Filipino wife made it such that their marriage felt like a honeymoon. And he said every day. I will tell y'all, I can't even contemplate that, because I remember the battles and the worry. To be able to come home, how nice is it to have someone with no arguing, someone that supports you and rubs your head after you've been through the war out there, working hard for your family every day, to actually have a woman that is happy to see you. Now listen, to have a woman that is appreciative of her husband and acts like she loves him for what he does for her and the family. To have that type of appreciation to a man, it means a lot. To feel appreciated and not a burden. Here you are going work hard every day and you are burdened to some of these women. Now, he talked about his fire being relit. Listen, the ladies that feel that the marriage is slipping, if you go ahead and try to relight that fire, be feminine, be fit, be agreeable. Men love that. If you're passionate with them, you can relight a man's fire. Listen, when a woman is passionate with her man and he loves her, isn't anything in the world that man wouldn't do for that woman.
No matter what I did or how much I did, it was never enough for my American wife. She just was never satisfied. When we first started, we lived in her 1-bedroom apartment in Carter Homes. That's the projects. But by the time we split up, we had accomplished some things. We were like the Jeffersons, man. We had moved on up, and I guess she kind of forgot that. But she started taking everything for granted. She became real, confrontational and jealous. And it just became hard for me to be the man of the house. Sometimes I'd get in my car and I'd just ride around till late at night and come home and go to bed.
You hear women today talk about wanting to be a power couple. A power couple. Now, they didn't bought into this narrative that is laid out on TV, in the news, in the media about this power couple scenario. When you're on a team, everyone has roles to play. Back in the day, on football teams, them hardened men used to play both offense and defense. Didn't really matter. There wasn't enough people to go around to not play both sides of the ball. But even to this day, on the field during play, most of the time, there's only one quarterback. There is only one person that is controlling that huddle in the offense. So everyone has roles to play. But women today, the modern woman, doesn't want to play a role. She wants the dual quarterback throughout the game, throughout life. And men want to be leaders and they want to be providers. They do not, however, want a woman that they can't be with that is going to support the agenda of getting you and your family to where they want to be at. When a man don't feel like a man, he ain't going to stay there. Your relationship ain't doing well if your man got to be riding around every day. He'd rather be riding around in his car than to come home to you, ladies. I remember those days. I remember feeling the dread when you think about what you got to deal with when you walk through that door. And let me tell you, I didn't have a problem coming home and be a dad to my kids. What I had a problem with was a disagreeable woman who's just miserable no matter what you do for them. Miserable feeling of dread. When you have a woman that is never satisfied, who is always nagging, home is the last place that you want to be.
With my Filipino wife, it was different. She was low maintenance. It didn't take a whole lot to make her happy, because she just wasn't used to having a whole lot. A lot of things that I bought her, man, she really didn't want them. I was buying them for me, to make me feel good, like, the good husband. But, you can't miss what you never had. But yeah, she was very low maintenance. And I like that. I like a simple woman. We never had an argument in 8.5 years. And she's feminine, she's delicate. They're tough as nails when the time calls for it. But other times, man, they're just, feminine, man. They're ladies, they're women, and they don't have a problem with that.
Most men are pretty simple in their desire. To have a low maintenance woman would be amazing to us men. See, I think that's why country boys like country girls, because they aren't as high maintenance as city girls. The relationship stays simple, and then you end up being happy about things that truly matter in life. Women who are easily please good men. Men want fit, feminine, agreeable women. A woman who is operating in her femininity catches more flies with her honey than an argumentative woman who spits out vinegar with every word.
And we argued all the time with my American wife toward the end. See, at the beginning, man, we were best of friends. We were best of friends when I was drinking and drugging, but when I stopped, did that 180, got my life together, she felt, this is what she said, that I didn't need her no more. Not realizing that I needed her more, see? And she compensated for that by becoming more stronger, more tougher. And it's like, if I wanted a man, I would have married a man. And that's what I told her. But the Filipino, on the other hand, she's feminine, she's delicate. It got to the point in my house where there was some blurred lines. Like, who's the head of the household, really? She didn't want to budge. But with my Filipino wife, see, there was clearly defined roles. She didn't have a problem with that. She didn't have a problem with me leading. And I like that. You know, there was no question who wore the pants in the house. So it was totally different, East versus West. It's just basically the cultures, how they grew up.
The worst thing a man can deal with is a woman who is operating in toxicity and drama. Most men don't like conflict, and most men definitely do not like drama. It's because if we operate in drama and in toxicity, being a man out in this world operating like that will get your head knocked off, will get you murked, depends on where you at. When you have a toxic and a drama-filled woman, she will take you off your path. And that's why we talk about finding and fulfilling your purpose, being your best self, because that is the way that you live your best life. Now listen, I'm not sitting here telling y'all need to go find a foreign woman, because I don't necessarily agree with that. I still believe there's some good women here. They're a lot harder to find, so do not get discouraged. But you will not have a great shot at finding her if you don't start working on you, if you don't start working on the things that are holding you back from being the man you're supposed to be. That's why I want you to watch this next video right here, and you're going to see a man that is on his purpose and found a woman that appreciates him and loves him.